Hello, Missouri and my fellow Americans. My name is Hector Maldonado, candidate for U.S. Senate for the great state of Missouri. And I come here to do a follow-up to the earlier interview on July 4th that I did on Branson Radio Live, in which I expressed that I was considering action against my Secretary of State's office and Robin Carnahan, who's actually also running for the Democratic Party for U.S. Senate for the great state of Missouri. This here is the actual letter that I received. This was the first one dated April 28, 2010. Our office is in the process of reviewing your qualifications for the office of U.S. Senate. As part of the candidate verification process, the qualifications for the office include being a citizen of 9 years. We sometimes use voter registration to verify records. Well, when I registered to vote, I didn't have to show proof of citizenship, so that's kind of silly. We will need proof of U.S. citizenship, such as a copy of a birth certificate or a passport. That's what I needed to bring. The information must be received in our office by May 12, 2010 to meet the certification deadline before the primary August 3rd ballot. If we do not receive the required documentation, we will not be able to certify your name for the ballot. If you have any questions, contact such and such. Okay, so that's the letter. Well, immediately after that radio interview, I was attacked by a blogger in Texas, JBJD, misspelling the myth that I falsified that claim, that I did not indeed get such letter. So she didn't do her due diligence. And me, as an opponent of doing something out of the blue and frivolous lawsuits and all that, I do not like anything unless I do due diligence on my part to bring an issue forward. So I've been holding off. It's been a while, but I've been doing my due diligence. I had somebody from my campaign send a letter to the Secretary of State's office and received back a reply from Leslie M. Winslow, Senior Counsel at the Secretary of State's office. The requirement for state and federal candidates must be placed on the primary ballot for the elections set out in Missouri Statute Section 115.305 through 115.405, Section 115.758 through 115.768. U.S. Senate candidate Hector Maldonado submitted a certificate of naturalization as proof of citizenship. I did. I was born in Mexico. I brought my Mexican birth certificate, but that does not qualify me. So I brought my naturalization certificate, of which they made a copy, and they said that it's public record. I asked if it was, and they said yes. The presidential candidates are certified for the primary and the general election under a different section of Missouri state law. And it goes on to 115.399 and 115.761. Missouri state law specifically states that the state committee of each established political party shall verify in writing to the Secretary of State the names of the nominees President Barack Obama provided by the Democratic National Committee and the Missouri Democratic Party are attached. So what do? From Nancy Pelosi's office, or from her hand in writing, she sent this, which states, "This is to certify that the National Convention of the Democratic Party of the United States of America, held in Denver, Colorado, August 25th through 28, 2008, the following were duly nominated candidates of said party for President and Vice President of the United States, respectively. Barack Obama has his address, Joe Biden has his address, and nothing here does it specify that they are constitutionally eligible to hold the office." So did we follow the Constitution? I don't know. Here is the proof, and I actually had to do some digging on the internet. Thank goodness for Google, right? This is a certificate of live birth for President Obama. Now, what it's missing is a lot of the critical information that says who delivered them, where, height, weight, and all that good stuff that you typically find on the long form birth certificate, such as the one that was submitted by John Boehner for John McCain. Now, John McCain, as you know, was born in Panama, and this is his long form birth certificate, which actually states, I'm going to read the letter of certification from the Republican National Committee, we do by here certify the National Convention delegates of the Republican Party that was held in the city of St. Paul, Minnesota on September 4, 2008, the following persons meeting the constitutional requirements for the office of President and Vice President. You see here, this letter, the Republican Party did it the right way. They put in that, so they verified the actual long form birth certificate following the Constitution. Now, the Democratic Party has some explaining to do. So this actually says that they were nominated and they are constitutionally eligible. The big question I have is, I was required to show proof of citizenship for the office that I seek, which is U.S. Senate for the great state of Missouri. Now, I was attacked by a liberal blogger, and she didn't do her due diligence on my part. Somebody in Texas, JBJD, and she doesn't even have the courage to put her real name out there. But I know she's a lawyer, and she's a blogger, and she's upset for some reason. But I know that what she did not do is something that I did do. I did my due diligence in searching for the truth, the evidence, the information. She could have easily called me to see if I actually had a letter requiring me to show proof. And you know, I'm glad that I was required to show proof. The Secretary of State's office was doing their job. The question is, did they hold everyone to the same requirement? Or was there a double standard there for me? I was born in Mexico. I'm running on a conservative platform on the Republican Party. There was one other Republican candidate that was actually not Republican. He's on the Constitution Party, Joe Montalero, that I recently found out that was asked for the same thing. But did they ask proof of all parties? That's the question. America, we demand the truth. You deserve better. You deserve leaders that love liberty and freedom and not power. You deserve leaders that are going to uphold our Constitution and not pretend to be transparent, yet do things under the cover of darkness. And that's what's going on now. The president promised to unite us all in his campaign bid, but he has done everything to divide us. We've been more divided than we ever have in the history of our existence. That the easiest solution is, the very first thing he did after becoming president is to sign an executive order sealing his records. And then he actually enforced that by spending almost $2 million to make sure that no one has access to his records. Why, Mr. President? You volunteered to seek public office, and you should be held available. You should be actually held accountable for those. America, now's your opportunity to send a message to Washington. America does not need to be remade, but rather reforged by the very fire that still exists in us all, in that common thread that we share that's existed for over 235 years. Make sure that you visit washmo.com. My website is hectorforfreedom.com. There is a longer interview of this segment that I had on video on washmo.com. Guy Mitkeff is the author on that website and the radio talk show host. My website is hectorforfreedom.com, www.hectorforfreedom.com. America, keep your support coming. Help me get there to demand the truth and to hold those accountable that are not abiding by our Constitution. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.